Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 25 online game. Today we got the New York Jets and the New York Giants. The battle in New York in the snow, and this could be what the Super Bowl looks like in the Meadowlands, a snowfest. And that's what it looked like this week in the NFL, a complete snowfest, and it was awesome. So bring it on for the Super Bowl, man, that's what I'm saying. I mean, sure, those fans in the stands are going to suffer, but the game itself, it could be pretty damn awesome. So, you know, maybe I'm biased because I'm a New Yorker and I live in the snow and stuff like that, but I want to see it. I want to see a snow Super Bowl, right? I want to see the game with all the elements, you know? And, you know, that's what it was in the NFL, a game with the elements, and there were some pretty badass games. And I think the one that takes the cake out of all of them was probably the Ravens and the Vikings game, because that game was completely dead in the first, 57 minutes of the game. I think like 1 or 2 touchdowns were scored total. Then all of a sudden, it was scoring mania. Joe Flacco leads the team downfield, what looks like will probably be the go-ahead touchdown against a dead Vikings offense without Adrian Peterson. Then his replacement, pretty much his backup, Toby Gerhardt, runs for like 40 yards on a tough Ravens defense for a touchdown. And you're like, oh man, that's the go-ahead touchdown. Ravens aren't getting a touchdown back. Blink of an eye, Jacoby Jones takes a like pooched kickoff back to the crib for a touchdown. No Mike Tomlin to stop him, and the Ravens win. You're like, no way the Vikings can come back again as Andre Brown put a moves in the open field. And what do you know, Cordell Patterson on 3rd down and 11 takes a screen pass for a touchdown and shows why he was one of the top picks in the draft, as we had RB wide open. I don't know why the hell I threw the cruise, but I mean, I guess it worked and we got a first down there. But yeah, Cordell Patterson ends up taking the touchdown. You're like, wow, for real? And at that time, you're like, yo, the Ravens are probably going to score a touchdown. The way this game is going, you know, the Ravens are probably going to score a touchdown. And that's what happened. Granted, they got help from a pass interference call against, I think, Chad Greenway. That wasn't so pass interference. It was just, like, incidental contact. But they still got that pass interference call. And Flacco made a beautiful pass in the back of the end zone. Then Marlon Brown, I think that's his name, made probably an even better catch in the back there. Both feet inbounds in the snow and controlled the ball there for the game-winning touchdown. And that was like their last shot at the end zone, kind of like the way Tom Brady had to take a last one for Kenbrell Tompkins in that Saints game a few weeks ago. And, you know, Flacco got it done. Flacco keeps the playoff hopes alive and, you know, live to play another day. And even though their schedule does look tough from here on out, who's to say the Ravens can't win the games? You know, anything can happen in the NFL. The Lions are kind of shitty as far as blowing games constantly, which we'll get to just now against the Eagles. And the Patriots are even more depleted now that Gronk is out for the season. And, you know, against a tough Ravens defense that beat Tom Brady in the AFC title game, I think beat him in the regular season last season too, Ravens might have Tom Brady's number, you know, you never know. And let's get to Tom Brady next, because Tom Brady himself also pulled a miraculous comeback against the Browns, who dominated the game early on. Once again, a game that was pretty much dead in the first 4 quarters. And then it looked like it was dead once and for all when the Cleveland Browns went ultra aggressive and scored a touchdown with 2 minutes left. Then Tom Brady did his thing. You know, they were scoring a lot in the 4th quarter. Brady did his thing, scored a touchdown as Eli Manning goes read option. And then they recovered an onside kick, which the Patriots never do. They never recover onside kicks. Haven't recovered one in like this century. And they recover one, and they win the game. And they got definitely a phantom pass interference call on that guy, that rookie McFadden, which, you know, seems to be the story of every Patriots game. The referees seem to interfere with every single one. But this time it helped them out, and they won the game. I mean, even without that pass interference call, who's doubting Tom Brady to come back and win that game? I'm not. I'm still thinking Tom Brady wins that game either way. But, you know, they do win the game. Even though Cundiff had a shot at the end, it's Billy Cundiff, so you know that's not going to go through. Even if he did have the accuracy, he just didn't have the leg. And that game fell flat for them. The next game, the Steelers and the Dolphins game. Because that game, you know, it looked like the Steelers kind of were going to find a way to win that game. But the Dolphins, they kind of just showed up in the 4th quarter. Like, you know what, we're actually the better team here, Pittsburgh. So we're going to take the lead in this 4th quarter. Then the Steelers almost come back and score one of like the top 10 plays of the decade or like the century easily, with that Antonio Brown run that doesn't get scored because he steps out of bounds at like the 12-yard line when he didn't even need to. Like Chris Clemens, I think it was, he was stumbling. Antonio Brown had him. Dolphins completely choked the game away, but Antonio Brown blows it by stepping out of bounds. Snow probably had a little bit of something to do with it, since, you know, you don't have much traction running in the snow, but still, you go out of bounds? Really? That's the difference between winning and losing. Between like all of those laterals, the difference between winning and losing a football game that everybody fights so hard to win is stepping out of bounds at the 12. And that's just karma for the Steelers. That's just karma for Mike Tomlin trying to like step in bounds. Call it accidental all you want, but the dude was in the middle of the play. You don't just accidentally end up on the field, okay? You know, so, and that's just karma for the Steelers. And the biggest snowstorm out of all of the games, and I try to bait him into throwing the fullback there, but he ends up finding Kellen Winslow. Even though he has a cornerback on him, Kellen Winslow is able to get that touchdown there, unfortunately. That gives him the lead right before halftime. But, yeah, the biggest snowfest was the Lions and the Eagles game. And after the first half, the Eagles were leading, but I would have never said the Eagles were going to win, even though the Lions were leading. I would have never said the Lions were going to win, even though the Eagles had, like, no points, because it's the freaking Lions. They're probably going to blow the game. And that's what I said in my preview. I said the Lions were going to find a way to lose that game, and they didn't stop Shady. And I don't even know you can blame them for not being able to stop him. But at the same time, their offense, I don't want to say it looked like an indoor team versus an outdoor team, because it's the Lions playing a dome, but the Lions looked like shit. You know, they were fumbling the ball. Stafford had like 5 fumbles. Obviously, they didn't lose them all, but they had like 5 fumbles, and they actually did lose a very key one in the fourth quarter. And they lose the game, and now all of a sudden they're tied. Well, not tied with the Bears since they hold a tiebreak over the Bears, but they definitely keep on leaving the Bears and somehow the Packers in the NFC North race. At this rate, I wouldn't trust the Lions to hold a pack of gum, you know, and let alone win the NFC North. So I would bet on the Bears to do that. And the Bears blew out the Cowboys. Not much to say there except for they blew out the Cowboys, and the Cowboys know where they're winning the NFC East, because even if they win out, they would have to face the Eagles in a winner-takes-all game on Week 17. And are you really trusting that Cowboys defense against a hot Nick Foles, a hot Sean McCoy? Because I am not. And the Bears, you know, you never know what they could do. As this dude's trying to block my kick here, and I don't appreciate that, because this is a sub game, and I don't know what the hell he's doing trying to block my kick there, trying to turbo off the edge. So I come out onside just to send him a message. And there were quite a few big games this week. And one of the games that wasn't even like looked at that much because there were so many snow games and all that was the Colts and Bengals game. Big game that could potentially decide 3rd or 4th seed, or potentially even 2nd seed if the Patriots had lost in the AFC. And the Bengals blow out the Colts, as many teams have done. I mean, there was that one touchdown that should have never been a touchdown to Green Ellis. I don't know how they decided that was a touchdown, because it definitely was not. But still, the Bengals would have won that game otherwise. You know, say what you want, that could affect the momentum and all that, but I would still put my money on a team that's not named the Colts. The Colts, you know, I don't know what the hell to think about them. I don't know if you would trust them in the playoffs, because I would not right now. And you know, there are a few other games that weren't that important this week, like Jaguars beating the Texans on Thursday night. Go Jaguars. The Jets offense suddenly coming alive, even though it was against a shitty Raiders defense. Still, the Jets offense coming alive. The Chiefs blew out the Redskins, and that was a statement win for the Chiefs, because when you're a good team going against a bad team, you gotta blow them out. And that's what the Chiefs had to do after losing 3 straight and people doubting them. That's exactly what they had to do, and they did it. So big shout out to the Chiefs for doing exactly what they had to do. Even it's sort of a away game, but you know, that's what they had to do. They had to win that game. They won the game. And you see Lewis Murphy coming up big in this game all of a sudden, making a diving catch. I see you, Lewis. And let's see, the Packers game. The Packers won, so that keeps them alive for at least another week in that North. You know, they probably have to win against the Cowboys to hope they could, you know, push a winner-take-all against the Bears in Week 17. But you know, at least they're alive. They won't even have Rodgers for that game, but they are alive, unlike my Giants, who I'm pretty sure got officially eliminated after that San Diego loss. And if it wasn't official, they are definitely out. Anyways, I see Ruben Randall somehow not come down with that touchdown. But yeah, they are out. They got blown out by San Diego. Game was not close. And even though San Diego won in convincing fashion like they had done a few times, they're probably still not making the playoffs, because they are a game or 2 out of the Ravens and Dolphins. And then they still have games against the Chiefs and Broncos. So they would have to win out, and they're not beating both of those teams to end the season. I'm sorry to say to the San Diego fans. So they're a good team, and if they won some close games like the game against the Redskins, that's definitely going to bite them in the ass as they come down the stretch. They could have made the playoffs, but instead they're going to have to be watching from home. The Cardinals might end up watching from home, even though they're putting up a really good record in the toughest division in the NFL. They could easily go 10-6 and not make the playoffs. They won convincingly against the Rams this week, and they still won't make the playoffs probably, because the Niners they really need the Niners to lose this week against the Seahawks, and then hopefully force a winners take all on week 17 against those two teams. Instead, I don't know why the hell this guy ran commit. I don't know if he knew I was running the halfback pass or what, but he ran commit there. Kind of weird. But yeah, they could have forced a winner's take all or something. Instead, the Niners did win. Like I said, in convincing not convincing fashion. They won the game. Nothing close to convincing fashion, but they won the game. And sometimes that's all that matters in the NFL, that you win the damn game. I mean, that's what they count. The W's and the L's, and they got a W there. Kept it close in the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, and usually 4 quarters in close games are about execution, especially in a playoff game. And that game kind of did have a playoff feel to it. And the Niners executed. They clocked the hell out of the Seahawks there late, and they won. Frank Gore got that big run there. That definitely executed the clocking strategy to perfection. But yeah, they won the game and basically said, you know, we'll walk in Seattle. We'll have the swagger in the world that, you know, we can actually take you down in Seattle. Easier said than done, because I'm not sure if any team can beat the Seahawks in Seattle after that Saints game. But at least they'll have some confidence, and that's sometimes that's all you need. And yeah, by the way, the Niners, I don't think they have a tough game for the rest of the season, so I'm pretty sure they won't lose the rest of the season. They'll have that second wild card locked up, and then when they get in the playoffs, they can beat anybody. They could beat the Saints. They had a close game against them that they might have been able to win, and they had a call go their way against Ahmad Brooks. But yeah, you know, they could work that out. And the Buffalo Bills and the Titans or the Bucks game, no one even realized that game happened. With all the early games going on, like that's the forgettable game of the week. No one really remembers that game for a good reason. A lot of games were good, and that game had no playoff implications. But yeah, I can't even tell you anything that happened in that game. So go Bucks, I guess. Go Schiano, trying to save his job. It looked like it would be mission impossible for Greg Schiano to keep his job at the end of the year, but I think he's done enough to do it. Call me crazy, and call him crazy for going on Mike Glennon instead of Josh Freeman, but it worked. And then the Saints and Panthers. Speaking of the Saints, even though they got blown out in Seattle, they came back with a convincing win against a very tough Panthers defense. Drew Brees decided, you know, I'm going to work. I don't care about this Panthers defense. I don't care how good they've been this season. I'm going to work. At home, I'm not sure who can beat the Saints besides maybe the Seattle Seahawks or the Niners. But yeah, they look good at home. And they just went to work on the Panthers. I don't know how good the Panthers feel after that game. They passed a lot of their tests and stuff, but I don't know how they feel about, you know, being the away team in the playoffs, going against the Saints. Because the Saints definitely had their number in that game, and Drew Brees went to work. And they go against a quarterback like Brees, they're in trouble. They go against Kaepernick, maybe they have a chance, because Kaepernick isn't exactly the most prolific quarterback in the NFL. But if you go against Brees, I don't know. We'll see how that game happens 2 weeks from now when they play at Carolina. We'll see how that game shakes down. But it looked a little bit shaky on their behalf. And then the one game I kind of forgot to mention, the Broncos game. Broncos are like underratedly banged up this season, yet they keep on winning because they have Peyton Manning and their weapons on offense, that they keep on winning shootouts, which is what they needed, because the Titans with Fitzpatrick aren't supposed to be in a shootout. And here, 4th down and 1, we could have lost this game, but we got that big 4th down and 1 that pretty much helps us clinch the win here. But yeah, they could have lost that game, but you know, you have Peyton Manning on the other side that helped you score 50+ points in the game, despite the fact that your defense gives up 28 points to Fitzpatrick and all of them. So, you know, Broncos, we'll just have to see how they do in the playoffs. I'm not sure how I feel about Peyton Manning in the playoffs. I'm going to be one of those people that I don't know how I feel about Manning in the playoffs. I wouldn't bet on them to go to the Super Bowl. They don't exactly have the, I mean, they have a great home field advantage, but it's not Seattle Seahawks or New Orleans Saints hometown advantage like, or home stadium advantage like I should say. So I don't know how I feel about them in the playoffs. Who knows? Ravens go as a wild card and beat the Broncos in Denver. Wouldn't bet against it, honestly. But that pretty much does it for the week. That does it for the video. Hope you guys leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Madden 25 online games, and I will catch you guys next time.